Now playing the Hook and Bridge podcast.
I fucking love Kesha. I'm telling you, I'm the worst person to have a podcast. I can barely speak.
Oh my god, I love doing this!
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Hook and Bridge podcast, episode number 47. Today is a huge episode for us.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely get into why this is such a big one for me and Lindsay here. But today on the show we have from the band Bowling for Soup, Jaret Reddick, and a lot of other projects too. You know, you have your solo stuff. I think you said you have another band as well, right?
So yeah, sorry, my dogs are barking outside right now and adding to the ambience of this amazing. I'm in my kitchen right now. So yeah, you know, I stay really busy. You know, Bowling for Soup obviously has been going for a long time. 30 years next year.
I know.
I just launched a country thing, solo country thing last year. I have a band called Jaret with my best friend Linus. That's been going on for years and years and years. I have another band with another good friend of mine, Kelly Dollyrot, called Jaret and Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so I've got all that going, and then of course I've got the Rockstar Dad Show with Gary from Bowling for Soup, and I do voiceover stuff, and I'm a voice actor, and so it's a lot to keep straight. As I said earlier, I was kind of getting some stuff set up online, and for those of you who are watching or listening that that don't have multiple like Facebook and Instagram things, it's like it's getting awesome as far as like being able to run them all from one spot, but man, is it confusing.
Oh
yeah. So that was my few minutes before jumping on here, was trying to untie my personal Facebook from a comedy metal band's Instagram profile.
Jeez. So a little backstory on why this is so exciting for us in particular. So I grew up in a very country background house, right? And missed out on a lot of amazing music growing up. I met my wife when I was 18, 19?
19, yeah.
And she introduced me to the song 1985.
Oh, very cool.
I absolutely fell in love with the song, and then fell in love with the band. I worked with a lady years ago now that was a big fan of you guys as well. And just, you know, your band has meant a lot to me over the years, and it was like a very big connecting thing between my wife and I when we first started dating. We literally listened to that song on repeat for months upon months. So
well, fortunately for myself and the guys and my kids, a lot of people did. So I have to say I very much appreciate that. And you know, I love one of my favorite things about our band is, you know, the fact that we bring people together. We a lot of people have relationships because we exist. There's you know, we get stuff from parents all the time, and they're just like, man, my kids wouldn't even talk to me. And then we both started listening to Bowling for Soup, and now we go to concerts together, and we're on our way to Taking Back Sunday right now. You know, it's like, it's super cool. And that's my favorite part of the legacy I think that we've achieved is just the relationships that we've brought together, made stronger. And so, yeah, man, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. So so your newest album, right, has some of my all-time favorite songs of your guys, actually. That last album that you guys put out is so incredible.
Thank you.
And we'll get into technically two songs in particular that I'm interested in hearing the stories behind.
Okay.
But the other thing that we would be horrible people not to bring up is you are the voice of a generation.
I am, yeah.
You guys did the theme song for Phineas and Ferb, as well as the episode of Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, and actually, when I got that job, I got to auditioned for a part, and I ended up getting a bigger part. So I'm also Danny from the band Love Handle on that
Yes, yeah.
show. And so yeah, we're and they were so gracious to me back in the day that you know, I had a open door policy to go in and write songs with them anytime I wanted. And so I got to write a bunch of songs throughout the run of the first run of that show. And so yeah, it's that's one of those things. It's super cool, especially when you're, you know, I'm not young, you know, and so people, a lot of times when I'm with my youngest son, you know, people might not have heard of Bowling for Soup, and so I can just be, well, you know, we did Phineas and Ferb, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we know who this is. um you know, Phineas and Ferb is like, I have a bunch of famous friends, and like whenever we get into like, I like to mess with people about me being more famous than them, even if they're more famous. And so I always throw the Phineas and Ferb and Chuck E. Cheese card at them and just be like, you know, I don't know that you can mess with me. I got Pop Punk, I got Disney, and I've got the largest kids restaurant chain in the world
Right.
on my side. So
what's that experience like, being the iconic voice of a large rat? That's
well, first of all, that's very insulting. I'm a small mouse now, and I have been for over 10 years. So I was never a rat. Once I started voicing him, I was a mouse. So so you take that back, and then I'll
I do take that back. It's been,
thank you.
I
Thank
think,
you.
20 years since I've stepped foot in a Chuck E. Cheese.
Sure. Well, that's probably, you know, unless you have little kids, that's probably
Yeah.
probably for the best. So yeah, so no, it's amazing. I mean, I'm a you know, I when I was a kid, I loved Chuck E. Cheese. I loved Showbiz, and you know that if you don't know the story, I'm not going to get into it now, but it's a really interesting story about how those two became one.
Mhm.
And so you know, just to be him is my favorite job. You know, I mean, I love music and I love everything that I do, but there's nothing more. I mean, you know, just the fact that as cheesy as it sounds, to just know that like every week you're making a memorable birthday or a memorable trip for these kids all over the world, you know, and they're, you know, they're leaving with cups with the mouse that I voice, you know, and backpacks and things like that. And so it's I do not take it lightly. I am very, very, very proud to be him, and you know, he and I have a very, very cool relationship. You know, we get to do a lot of fun stuff together, sing a lot of really hard songs too. It's like I'm
Yeah.
not a very rhythmic guy, and you know, sometimes Chucky has to rap, and I cannot rap, and so he and I have really learned how to do that together.
Now, so doing that, do you also get to, because you have kids, obviously,
Yeah.
did you get to experience like going to Chuck E. Cheese while being the voice actor and actually get to see like the
Yeah,
fruits of
yeah.
that labor?
Yeah, for sure. All of my kids have gotten to enjoy that. I mean, my oldest is 20, so she was 10, I guess, or 9 whenever I got the job. And so, I mean, she didn't really have like the little kid magic aspect of it, but you know, both of my sons, my youngest is 10, and and um and so he really is the one that got to like grow up with, you know,
Yeah.
but it's so funny because he knew it was me talking, but it doesn't take any of the magic away. He still goes up there and dances with the guy in the suit, and you know, claps along to the songs. And you know, we spent a lot of time there you know, when he was growing up, and you know, it's fun. I mean, they enjoy it just like everybody else, only and I think sometimes, especially when we're there, they don't really even think about the fact that the voice coming out of the thing is me. But they hear that so much. I mean, I have a studio at my house, and it's constantly my voice coming out of there doing something. And then, you know, I'm all over the TV doing Chucky and Phineas and Ferb, and then and then toy commercials, and you know, been in all these movies and stuff. And so, like, I think they're just sort of numb to it, you know. It's just sort of like, oh, okay, that's what my dad does.
Yeah. I've always wondered that, that aspect of it. You know what I mean? I don't have very many people involved in music, or nobody involved in voice acting in my life, but music in
Yeah.
particular. We're both 28, almost 29. So it's been interesting to see like friends that are in music develop it and have these careers start to blossom, but I haven't really had anybody underneath of me to kind of show like our path as musicians and everything. So I've always been very curious of how that looks to like a family dynamic, when I have a child someday, how that would be, if the same thing, if they'd be numb to it. Or
I don't think it's fair to compare mine to anybody, because like I don't think I'd be a good example for you, because all of the grinding, and living in a van, and like literally living in a van and touring in a van for 9 years happened before my kids were born. So my daughter was born the day we got nominated for a Grammy. So
oh wow,
she's only known, she's 20, and she's only known a life of like me being on the radio or us being on MTV when they had music there, and those things. And then the TV show, Jimmy Neutron happened, I think, before she was even aware that that was a thing. And so I think they've always really sort of been, it's just part of their life, so but I think all kids are like that. I mean, I've got a lot of friends that are actors or comedians or whatever, and it's the same thing. I always say numb to it, but I don't necessarily think it's numb to it. I mean, the kids think it's cool. It's just they don't think it's as cool as their friends do, because we're just dads, I mean, or moms or whatever. Like, so I'm still like dad joke guy, and like my family hears me say anything and everybody rolls their eyes, and I hear, "Oh my God, Dad," and just constantly. So, that is that doesn't change. It's funny. I'm certain that like, whoever, I don't know who a good example is, but somebody that's got a bunch of kids. There's so many of them, right? So many actors out there too. But they're all just dads or moms or whatever. And we talk about that a lot on the Rockstar Dad Show. We have a lot of musicians, a lot of comedians, actors. As I said, we have our neighbors on there. We just talk to dads.
right.
But that's a big thing of like, even because I guess the thing is like, even if your dad's a cop, you're like, you think that's the coolest thing ever, and your friends are like, that's the coolest thing ever. But then you get to the point where you're just like, yeah, my dad's a cop, I can't get away with it. Like, my son's in School of Rock, so it's like I try not to go in there and like, like I don't want to be the center of attention. I want him to be the center of attention,
right.
And so I think it's that kind of thing, where like, he's just like, yes, I'm playing the drums today. And yes, I realize my dad can play the drums really good, even though he's not a drummer. And, like.
So speaking of comedians, we actually had Ralph Sutton on.
Yeah. Ralph.
Yeah. And it was crazy. So the week that we had him on the show, the episode with you on there actually aired. And, that was one of the first episodes that I showed my wife of the SDR show. Was your episode. So that just clicked into my mind. Ralph's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great interviewer too. I think a lot of times when you get interviewed by a comedian, they tend to like, I don't even know if it's like if they mean to, but there's something in their minds where they sort of need to push you down a little bit, and Ralph is like a build you up guy. And at least he was with me. Like, I mean, I was very surprised actually by like how much research he had done on me. Like, he knew a lot about me, like, and like asked me good questions.
Yes.
And not just like, where'd you get the name of the band? Where are you guys from? Like, why did you guys do this? Or like, who really is the girl the bad guys want? Like, it wasn't any of that. It was all, and if those questions are coming up next, that's fine.
No, you're good.
I'm just kidding. No, but he was just very gracious, and I really, really enjoyed that interview a lot. And we had a great conversation, and I think that's what,
and I
think these are the best kind of interviews, right? Where we're just sitting here having a conversation.
Yeah. And I think so. So this show was very much modeled after that. He's always been a very big inspiration for me as I was getting into this, and he's also so helpful. Like, we had him on episode 10 of our show, and I have never done a podcast before. I don't come from a music. I come from a music background, but like a comedic or journalistic background at all.
Yeah.
And he was so helpful and gave me great advice prior to being on the show, and we're actually having him on again for our 1 year anniversary show. So
That's awesome.
yeah, man. So let's get into a couple of music questions here, because
Okay.
the two songs that I really am interested in hearing the story behind, because I know most of your catalog and I know most of the stories behind a lot of that. It's been said a million times. And I think that I haven't seen anything on this song in particular. And this song really stuck out to me as somebody that also comes from a background of dealing with this. And I think this is one of the first songs you've ever put out that actually had a more serious tone. Like it's played off very funnily, right? But the message behind it is much more serious than you guys typically go. So
Yeah.
the Hello Anxiety song.
Yeah. So, definitely early Bowling for Soup, we were very like, I was very self-conscious as a songwriter. I like, even if I was putting my feelings into something, I would then make it funny. So like, I'd be like, just kidding, I'm not showing them. But we've had songs like When We Die and Turbulence and songs like that aren't funny. But you're right in that this is the first time where I've overtly talked, where, can I cuss on here or no?
Oh yeah, you can
yeah.
say shit, balls, fuck,
Yeah.
tits, whatever.
Okay. So it's like where I can put something out there and like, and people would listen to it and go, okay, that guy's been through some shit, but
Yeah.
in a way. So I really, so I gosh, 8 or 9 years ago, started experiencing crippling anxiety and depression, and like literally just couldn't function. And I started, I was, I hurt my knee and I was depressed. And so I started gaining weight, and that made me more depressed. And I gained more weight and it made me more depressed. It was just this really vicious cycle. And so, and if you want to know more about that, you can read. I mean, I'm very, very open. I serve on the board of directors of 2 mental health charities, and I'm very, very active in that world. But the song itself, I was just like, okay, like this is I just, sometimes I would wake up and I'd be like, hello, anxiety. So I was like, the idea of the song was like, I want to write a happy song that's like where you're just going through your day, and then it's just like, okay, hello, anxiety, like, because that's sort of the way that it happens. You just you get to the point where you're just never surprised by it. It doesn't affect you any differently, but you're just like, and like, okay, all right, you win. I'm gonna go sit in my chair and stare at the wall for a while, and so my buddy Linus, who produces our band, and who I mentioned Jarinus earlier. He's my bandmate in that. He and I co-write a lot of songs for Bowling for Soup and other artists. And so that one, I was like, man, I got this really, really good concept, but I really want to take it to the next level. Like, I want to make it like theatrical, like where like you could hear it on like a Broadway stage. And it just poured out of us. It was like, I think it was sort of like that, and that thing, that sort of like how we were going to go with the verses came right away. And it was like, let's just open it up. Hello, and so yeah, it really came out great, because that was the thing, is like, I think there's enough songs out there that bum people out about anxiety and stuff like that. So I was like, I want a song where people can relate to me, where people like can listen to it and go, oh, okay, I'm not alone. This guy goes through that.
Right.
But that isn't like, okay, cry me a river. Like, all right, you're depressed too, kind of thing. So, yeah, it was definitely an exercise, but it came out very quickly. And as do all of the songs that people gravitate towards are usually effortless, just like, and there it is.
Well, and the thing that I really loved about it when I listened to it is the fact that you almost give the anxiety a personality, right? You've created this almost person-esque version of this disorder, and you tie it all in with all of these things that, as somebody like normal people deal with it, right? In a way, I say normal, I shouldn't say that. People that don't have anxiety
Right.
deal
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
those issues, like the line about the Uber driver, right? Like
Yeah.
a person gets in that situation, they're just like, it is what it is, man. I gotta, get to where I'm going. I'll get there eventually. But for people that deal with that stress and
Yeah.
anxiety, like it redirects your entire day. And it really
Yeah.
tapped into that in a way that not too many people would be able to.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's funny, like the line that, or the verse that for me, that's like where I think people ask me about all the time, and they're just like, so you're just laying in the pool, and like all of a sudden your heart just starts beating, and like you, all of a sudden you're just
Yeah.
like, you're just anxious, and you're just having a panic attack, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what happens. Like it's not, because that's the thing I think about mental health that people don't understand. It's like most people that have anxiety can't describe to you how they feel, and they can't tell you why they're feeling anxious. It's not like, but people that don't have anxiety, or even people who do, that aren't the ones that are experiencing it, just want to help or want answers or want to be able to drive you in a certain way. So it's like I had to learn, even with my wife, who also has anxiety, or and depression, but all of that. But the thing that I had to learn was, is I'd be like, well, what's wrong? Well, what can I do? And I had to stop doing that, because I was like, one day she was just like, do you want me to do that to you? Like, I don't think you said it that way, but I think it was like, you don't really like, whatever. So if you need space, you ask for space. If you need a hug, you ask for a hug. If you need air, you go get air. But yeah, I always say that it's like, describing anxiety would be like you trying to describe the flu to somebody who's never been sick before.
Right. Right.
Yeah, imagine that. Like seriously, you could go, well, my nose is stopped up, and they're like, okay, what does that mean? Like, well, you can't breathe through your nose. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but that's just the start, right? Then you get into like, well, my hair hurts. What do you mean your hair hurts? That doesn't make
Right.
any sense either. And I mean, like, I got the chills. Wait, you're cold? I don't see. So it's the same thing. It's the same, like, and people who don't experience, that's the thing that's so important about mental health, is that I think people that don't have it just need to be there, just to learn that people aren't screaming from the rooftops about it right now, honestly, to get attention. It's to build awareness. And really all you can do is be a good listener and a supportive friend. And,
Right.
I don't think anybody's asking for anything. It's more just like us being socially aware of the fact that, people have been going through this for years. I'm sorry, for decades. I'm going to say decades, and then I went days, years, decades. Anyway,
I mean, all are correct though.
it's like, I mean, I'm sure it's existed forever and ever and ever, but even up until, my parents' generation, where they're just like, go to work, rub some dirt on it, go, sit down in your chair after work, drink some scotch, and go do it again tomorrow. And fortunately, we live in a world now where you don't necessarily have to live like that if you don't want to. And people are getting more and more supportive and aware. And actually, this is super cool. I there's a sheriff I know I met through once I started doing the country thing, and down a real small town down in Texas. And they just start in this really small town, started like a mental health unit, like, but not only like external, internal. So like there's like help for the staff, that need, and it's
Right.
like, and it's like, that's not common. Like you'd think that there would be that sort of support out there in that world, but there's not, so yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's hello, that's the long-winded explanation of hello anxiety.
So speaking of the country shift, right?
Yeah.
Your solo career, right? You started that, I think you said last year. I'm a big
Yes.
fan of your Instagram page, so I'm always looking on there, and I've seen
Thanks.
some stuff you've went and done. Why the genre switch? Is it something you've always kind of had a passion for? Is it because of where you grew up? Is that kind of what you grew up with,
Yeah, both of those things. I grew up in Wichita Falls, Texas. Country is king. My parents listened to Waylon and Willie and Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton the whole time I was growing up, and there was always music playing. I mean, music playing in our house, music playing in the car. My parents were always singing. They were the total Griswolds, like just singing in the car, going around the corner, and it just top of their lungs. And my mom sang harmonies all the time, and my dad would harmonize, and so I really credit them a lot for teaching me how to harmonize. Because I remember I would be like, "Mom, you're singing it wrong," and she'd be like, "No, I'm singing harmony," and it's like, "Well, that's not what they're doing, so you're wrong." And here I am now in a pop punk band that is literally known for our harmonies. Like we're either the funny band or the band with the harmonies, and that's our thing. And so yeah, I mean, so once obviously I always wanted, as a kid, I wanted to play whatever I was into. So it was hair metal and then punk rock, and then obviously Bowling for Soup became a thing, and that's what I wanted to do. But I don't know that I really had the urge to branch out or anything like that. But I did always want to do a country record. And so, in the last, 10 years or so, it's been just on my mind, like, man, I just need to do it, because Bowling for Soup tours and then we don't, so it's like
Right.
everything's in cycles. So it's like when we're on an album cycle or a anniversary cycle or whatever, then we're really busy. So it's like, obviously for the pandemic, we were not busy. So we went and recorded Pop Drunk Snot Bread for Bowling for Soup, which is the album you and I were just talking about. And then yeah, I got the opportunity to go and make this country record with my buddy Zach Malloy. And we wrote it over text message in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it was recorded, and all the music was in a day, and I sang it in 2.5 days, and here we are. So yeah, it's been out right at about a year. The band's been together about 8 months, and we're going into our busiest month in April, and so we're starting to really click live. Rob from Bowling for Soup is also in the country band, so
Oh, nice.
and it's the same crew, two of my same crew guys. And so for me, it's like just an extended family with just really, great guys. I really just always get so lucky with bandmates. And so yeah, we're having fun.
So we are originally from Ohio. Oftentimes I've been told that I have a almost Southern twang to my speaking. And with you being from Texas, right? And
Yeah.
you obviously have not kept the accent from
Right.
Texas.
Yeah.
So going into the country, because I've had this argument with a lot of friends of mine. I
Yeah.
feel that when you're from an area that has that as a natural accent,
Mhm.
it is for some reason exceptionally easy to drop in that country stuff. Like if I was going to switch from a rock genre to any genre, country to me would make the most sense because my singing style is
Yeah.
slightly that Southern. So for you, when you do sing those songs, has it been really easy to transition and give
Yeah.
that
So,
twanginess to it?
well, let's talk about the accent. So I lost the accent as a kid because I was a theater kid. So I think about, an anchorman, practicing my non-regional diction, but that's not far off. I mean, I lost that, and it because it's really funny to me. Like if I call my brother or my mom on the phone, like it's just like, "Hey, baby, it's mama. I'm making a lasagna," and my brother's like, "Hey, boy," but but what happens if I drink, it kind of comes back. But really, if you go back and listen to, I mean, it pops out on Bowling for Soup songs all the time. Like if I sing the word light, it will almost always be light.
Yeah.
And so that it comes out like I'll say, go get him. I'll say, go get him, like that kind of stuff. So, but what I did do it on the country stuff was I tried not to add too much. Like I didn't, none of it's fake. I just was singing, it's like, for example, doggone it. It's like she's got the leash and I'm the doggone on it. But country, you would go she's got the leash and I'm the doggone on it. So it's real easy to go dog on that second time because it actually sings better. So it was really just sort of an effortless thing for me, but yeah, I just recorded a song, actually a cover song, with some friends down in Shreveport the other day. And I I caught myself, I'd gone through like about half the song and I go, I feel like I'm just imitating that guy and I don't sing like this. And the guy was like, yeah, the engineer was like, yeah, I didn't want to say anything because, you know what you're doing, and I'm just like, and so I was like, well, I wish you would have said something because we got to go redo all that. And so
Yeah.
back and so the accent is, Chris is really the only one in Bowling for Soup that still really has it. And he, yes, his is pretty thick most of the time. But the rest of us, well, obviously Rob is from Pennsylvania, so he doesn't have it at all.
No, he sounds like us.
He sounds like you guys. Yeah. Exactly.
So I have one final interview question for you.
Okay.
And then we're gonna get into our fun game here. We ask every guest this. The show is called the Hook and Bridge Podcast for a reason. It's a brother and sister podcast. My little sister Taylor is not here. She sends her condolences, but I consider myself like the hook of the show. And she has always been like the bridge of everything that we do. She's like that intricate piece to all of the operations, and she usually chimes in with some good hints of, different things, but she's vital to the operation. And then my wife Lindsay is the and symbol in between. So we ask all of our guests, when composing music, listening to music, writing anything relating to music, what is more important to you in a song, the hook or the bridge of a song?
Well, not every song needs a bridge. So I guess I'm going to say the hook, because, we always, when we're writing, we get, we get most of the way through this thing. And it's like, you've got however you're going to start the song, and then your verse and your chorus, and then your verse. And then if you're going to do like an alternate pre-chorus and then a chorus or whatever, again, there's no real model, but you sort of just follow the same idea. And then it's really then where you play through and have to decide, like, okay, does it need a bridge? Does it? And Tom Petty was famous for saying that if the middle 8 isn't as good as the chorus, then don't put it in the song. And so I'm definitely going to say hook for sure. Yeah. It's funny. I'm a lyric guy, and I've recent. This is real recent for me, actually. I've discovered that for a lot of musicians, lyrics are kind of the last thing they listen to. For me, it's always been at least the voice and the melody and sort of like the context of the song. And so this is a really funny story, actually. Because like everybody, like Rob, Gary, and all the guys in Less Than Jake, it's like, I ask everybody all the time, like, do you hear the words? You see, I don't even really pay attention to that. I just hear the structure of the song, and the vocals are just another instrument. And I'm like, that is so weird. That's all I hear, and so it's probably the reason I don't like Pearl Jam, because like, I think there's so much going on there musically, and that's why people like them so much, because there's this really cool guitar, and I'm like, no, he's just saying Jeremy, that's it, just over and over. And but we had Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols on the Rockstar Dad show this week. It's not out yet; it'll come out in a couple of weeks. And he just goes, I was just like, man, I mean, you wrote Anarchy in the UK, God Save the Queen. I mean, two of the most anthemic and inspirational punk rock songs literally of all time, and cross genre. I mean, you could just say political songs and this, just, it's just like, and he just goes, yeah, I mean, Johnny writes some good lyrics, really. I mean, without the lyrics, you haven't got shit, do you? And I was just like, yeah, that's right. Without the lyrics, you don't have shit, Gary. And so I thought it's really funny how we all, I think that's what's really cool about music. I think music is like reading, it's like, when you read a book, which I obviously don't read, but I know people that do. I have read and can read, but don't read.
I think we're the same person.
Yeah, but like, I could, but like when you do read a book, it's really cool because you have this image in your mind. It's the reason why people like the book better than the movie, the age-old thing, is because their image of it is not because all you're watching is someone else's interpretation of
Right.
what they read, and that's the thing about music too, is like we all hear something different, and we're all singing along to the same song, but we don't hear it the same, just like we don't see art the same, and all those things. So a good thing about music and why we're all drawn to different things, and that's it definitely makes the world go round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge lyric guy. That's always been my passion. I love to write songs and
Yeah.
really put my heart and soul into stuff. And speaking of movies, I know I said I was going to move on, but is your podcast Jaret Goes to the Movies still going on?
We actually stopped last summer. We went on
Okay.
hiatus and we never came back, and we're not coming back. We did that thing for 8 years. We did 300 episodes. And I mean, it was amazing and an
Yeah.
amazing, and but we all kind of agreed that really what we were getting out of the show was all of us hanging out, and we should just make more time to hang out.
Mhm.
So it's obviously, with everything else I've got going on, it's been a really nice stress relief, or not stress relief, but like a nice
Break.
it's several hours a week that I
Yeah.
don't have to commit, because my wife and I'd have to watch the movie. Hold on one second. What? 7. Yeah. Sorry, my wife's got to go pick up the kid. But yeah, I mean, you have the commitment of watching a movie, so my wife and I have to carve out time to watch the movie, and man, sometimes we're only getting a couple of hours together a night anyway, which at first for 4 or 5 years was great. Hey, we have to watch a movie together this week. Woo! But then, it starts to get to like, oh man, we got to figure out when we're going to watch this movie, and we're like,
Yeah.
but I want to watch Young and Pregnant, and and I'm like, man, Teen Mom's on. There's a new season of Teen Mom, but we've got to watch, this stupid movie that we've got to watch. And then, there's the whole like doing the show, which could be 3 hours, and
Yeah.
blows. And if you drink beer, it blows the next day too. So, I mean, man, we built a great community and there was a Patreon involved that was crowdfunded, and just can't say enough good things about the experiences that we had because of it. But I think it was just time. To something else. And but yeah, the only podcast I was up to 4 podcasts at one point.
Oh my God.
The only one I'm still doing, which is Rockstar Dad, which I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And I don't mean to keep plugging that, by the way, it just keeps coming up.
Oh no, I
But
love that show. It's
a it's actually on iDoby Radio first, and then it comes out as a podcast on Wednesdays. And caliber of guests is, like I said, we just had a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer on, so it's pretty great.
All right, so we have a very fun game ready for you. So I know you're a very funny guy, because like I said, I am a fan of your Instagram.
Thank you.
So this is a game that we came up with. It is a Hook and Bridge podcast original.
Okay.
It's called My Music Montage Don't Giggle Giggle.
Okay.
And it is essentially a game. We were marketing it as a try not to laugh challenge.
Okay.
However, we have found that a lot of musicians get pretty competitive. So
we do. Yeah, it's really weird.
So we decided to just kind of rebrand it as we're just gonna look at some funny stuff, man, and laugh together and comment on the pictures, and
Okay.
that'll be it. So,
Okay.
and my wife, Lindsay, curates all these. So here is the first one.
All right. And, okay. This is a good one.
This is a
that
good
guy
one.
hates me, by the way. So are people watching or listening to this?
Oh, you
Both.
you can't see it?
No, I can. Okay. I just
Oh,
was
okay.
wondering. So we should describe it. It's the guy from Disturbed, and it
Yes.
says down with the Thin Mints, and he's a Girl Scout.
Yeah.
He
And,
actually just put this on his Instagram, I think.
Did he? It's funny. He's developed a sense of humor, because he didn't have one back in the day. He hated our guts. And so, he did not like the video for Girl the Bad Guys Want. And I think it's because we didn't make fun of them, like he was jealous or something. But his bass player, John, is a good friend of mine. So, that's fine. But this is a funny picture. Plus, it's funny because they left the hands the same. So it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
like, you can, like, it's just like some teenage girl hands, and then just his, and he's got that thing through his chin and stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
this is
funny.
a good one. All right. Oh, freaking Sweet Caroline.
Oh my God. So okay, so it's yeah, so it's Napoleon Dynamite as as Neil Diamond. And there was this kid. My son had a program yesterday at school, and there's this kid in his new school that is like just tall and redheaded and glasses and just awkward. And he's gonna grow into it. So I'm not like, he's a kid, but man, it reminded me of Napoleon Dynamite. And I didn't say anything about it. This is the first time I've said anything, but it reminds me that I probably need to say something to my wife about it and see if she thought the same thing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh man, that's
oh.
funny. I probably would have laughed at this one actually. Corny Feldman, which
Corny
it's like,
Feldman. Oh
yeah, it's
man.
Corey Feldman's face on Jonathan Taylor and
Oh
Jonathan
wow.
Davis.
Jonathan Davis. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man. We don't have enough time to get into Corey Feldman.
Well, that's funny.
That is very funny.
All right, now we got a picture of is that what's their name? Tears for Fears?
Is that Hall and Oates?
No.
No,
that's
it is.
Tears
I
for
think it's
Fears.
Tears for Fears. Yeah.
Little kids when head lice is going around in school. Oh, because they got their heads together in the picture. Yeah, that's pretty funny too. If you're a parent, you get this one, man, because once like one kid gets it, it's crazy. My daughter, my poor baby girl, got it so many times from school, and man, it just would break her heart every time. But
I'm a teacher, so I understand.
oh, you definitely know then. Yeah.
Yes.
Like one quick
Yes.
and the thing is, we were just like, you gotta don't use other girls' hairbrushes, don't do
Nope.
this. Like it's simple. Don't, but it just makes this picture more accurate.
Yep.
All right, here we go. I want a girl with a short skirt. Oh
And then,
wow.
and a long, and it's Jack Nicholson,
Jack Nicholson and
it
Jacket.
coming out of the
Oh,
ground.
wow.
That's pretty funny.
That is, I'm a sucker for a good pun, man.
Yeah, same, man. I've definitely that's my jam. I don't really do a lot of puns anymore because I have a couple of friends that are so fast with it that they embarrass me. So I pretty much just leave it to them these days.
All right.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay. Matthew Navanahay. Wait, I've got a new complaint. And it's Matthew McConaughey as Kurt Cobain. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. I'm actually surprised at how well his face works with Kurt Cobain's face.
Like I
I mean, I don't know. It's Matthew McConaughey. His face probably goes on anybody's face just fine.
I mean, that's fair. Every girl crazy about a Garth Bless, man. Oh my.
Man, that's funny. Garth from Wayne's World blessing Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. Every girl crazy about a Garth blessed man. That's funny. I like the Photoshop on that one too.
Yeah,
like
right.
You see the Pope's hunchback.
It really
like
works with. Yeah.
There's no real way to get his head on there, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
What'd you have
why'd
to
you
go
have to go and make things so swamplicated? All right.
Oh
Anyway.
wow.
Yeah, it's got the my friend Evan in the background there.
Mm-hmm.
And but what's her name?
Avril Lavigne.
Well, that's Fiona.
Well, yeah,
Fiona. Yeah, it's
from
Fiona
Shrek.
from Shrek.
That again, that's really good Photoshop on that one.
That's amazing Photoshop right there.
I feel like if Fiona looked like this in the movie Shrek, I feel like Shrek would have been more on board.
Yeah. It's almost like the hot chick from the what's the thing with the raccoon and the one Marvel movie or whatever,
the Galaxy movies.
Yeah.
Guardians
of the Galaxy. It's like that girl, and you're just like, man, okay, she's green, whatever.
Freddie and the Jets.
Okay, I like that. Freddie and as Elton John.
Oh wow. I like the hand,
Yeah.
knife hand that they
Right?
do
Like
in
he could
there.
play piano with that, you know? Like-
Yeah. Oh,
I
The
know.
Breakfast 27 Club. Oh,
Is it too soon?
I mean,
man.
I don't think it's too soon.
No, there's never too soon. No, there's never a too soon. Like I want people joking about my death the week I go. You know,
Oh my
like, hit me with it. You know, like let's laugh about it. But it's the Breakfast Club, and it's all the people that died at 27.
At 27. Who's the second one?
Janis Joplin.
Oh, that's Janis Joplin?
I want to know why they put Amy Winehouse as whatever her name's character is.
Molly Ringwald?
Yeah, instead of
yeah.
They could have easily put Kurt Cobain as Molly Ringwald.
Yeah,
too.
right. That's an interesting picture of Janis Joplin.
when she was younger.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, she looks really young there. Like that's
Yeah.
super because she went through a lot in just a few years, so she didn't look
Right.
young.
That's probably why they chose that picture.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, another one?
Matthew
I
McConaughey.
had to.
Okay, Madonna's head on Matthew McConaughey's body.
From Magic Mike.
From
Magic Mike.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a good Photoshop too.
That is a good Photoshop.
She doesn't look
Yeah.
like she has a neck.
I think isn't she getting ready to do like a crazy world tour of like her songs from the past like 50 years or something?
I don't know.
I think that's her. That's doing
Who
it.
knows, man? You know, it's funny. I don't want to ever like get on anybody for what they do, you know, plastic surgery wise or whatever. But like, she was just always so beautiful. You know, it's like I don't know. I feel like some people should just age gracefully. I just saw a thing with Justine, and she was just like, "I'm not doing all this. I'm just gonna age gracefully and accept my face for what it is." You know, and she still looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know. Madonna seems happy with it. So
That's
you know,
that's
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Oh, look, a record store. You've got enough records.
Oh yeah, then she's out of the car. Yeah, and it's just like a stack of records in the passenger seat. Which, by the way, these are obviously Europeans.
Yeah.
they're
I'm very into records, so I have
Are
no
you?
issues. Oh yeah.
I am not that woman because I'm also into
Yeah,
them,
we're
so.
both very into
Okay,
vinyl.
well, that's a supportive wife. Good for you, man.
Jamie Flea Curtis. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, this is funny. It's Jamie Flea Curtis, and so it's Jamie Lee Curtis with Flea's teeth. And man, it is funny. That's a
Oh
yeah. Like if I saw that, I would share it for sure.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I would send that to all my musician friends.
Pink Floyd, wish you were here. Wish you were
I
ear.
wish you were ear. Yeah, an ear on fire.
Again, a good pun.
Yeah, I like that the ear has a hand.
Yeah, just poking off of it
from nowhere. Wow, that's funny. Oh, another Elton John.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm still standing.
Ah.
Yeah, and he's just in there in the workshop rocking an electric sander.
Which he would probably never do.
Skeleton John.
Oh, and another one, Skelton John. Wow,
Loading up with the Elton John
He's
memes
my
over
favorite
here.
guy.
it's so funny because it's like the piano is just covered in spider webs. So like, yeah, it's and they're like going through him.
Here's a good question for you, man. So my wife here confuses. See, you're a musician, so let's see if this infuriates you like it infuriates me. She confuses Elton John and Billy Joel.
Okay, I think that's super common actually, because I don't think that everybody puts like a face with everybody of that generation. I mean, those guys are old, you know. So like, for me, no, but I could see, and also they've toured together. They've like, you know, they're the two guys that like made it doing the rock piano thing, you know, after, you know, The Killer. I mean,
right.
You know, it's just to me, I don't know. That makes sense to me.
So here's another one that she just started doing recently. How about confusing Sum 41 for Sublime?
Okay, now that one I don't get. That one just seems silly. That's like, you know what that is? I don't know if y'all have this there, but we have 2 sandwich shops here. One's called Jimmy John's and one's called Jersey Mike's.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I like Jersey Mike's, but I don't like Jimmy John's, but I call Jersey Mike's Jimmy John's. And
See?
that's all Sublime and Sum 41 getting mixed up.
I made the same thing. I said they almost have the same first couple letters, and he was like,
Yeah.
they don't even sound the same. I said that wasn't my point.
No, you're exactly right. It's it's just I always say, let's just get Jimmy John's. And my wife is like, you don't like Jimmy John's. You get Jersey Mike's. Yes, I do.
See,
Yes,
you also have a good wife. That's important information.
She's the best. Take a look at me now.
Oh,
Take a look at
nice.
me now, and it's Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Oh man.
Are you a big Star Wars guy?
No, I'm not. I go see it because everybody else does. But not really. I mean, it came out when I was a kid and I thought it was cool, but like I never really knew like the names of all the planets and stuff. And
Right.
So we recently watched the episode 4, 5, and 6 with my 10-year-old, and then we watched episode 1, and I had never seen the whole Jar Jar Binks thing, and I always thought that it was just like man, why do people hate this guy so much? And I sort of get it, but I actually found him endearing. I really like the way he talks, just not like the tone, or what I mean is the way the words he chooses is funny.
Yeah.
It just got like super annoying or whatever with the thing. I just don't really know that you really needed him to be that annoying, but anyway, the movie was god awful. That kid, I mean, I hope he's not watching this, but that's the worst acting I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, the one that played Anakin?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And what sucks is like there's just all these kids on the Disney Channel that can actually act. So it's like, why didn't they go get one of those guys?
Right. All right, we got one more here.
All right.
Green Dray.
Okay, I like it. It's
I like it.
Green Day but with Dr. Dre as Billy Joe, which is good. That's Billy Joe, not Billy Joel. Okay.
I know that one.
Okay. All right.
We actually know. Well, I guess we don't technically know, but we're familiar with somebody that's related to somebody in Green Day.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So anyways, well, that is the game, sir.
Oh man, that was fun.
All right. So we're approaching the end of the show. I know you're a very busy guy. I know you got a lot of stuff coming up. I think they just added some new dates, right, for the We Are Young festival.
Yeah, so they added a second day of the festival, and now they've added a pre-show. So we'll be there all 3 days, and we're about to head over to Europe for Slam Dunk Fest and SPAM Fest, and so yeah, man, it's gonna be a busy year, and I've got lots of country stuff coming up. So, just out there burning at both ends as always.
Well, don't burn yourself out too much.
Yeah, man.
Thank you again so much, man, for coming on the show. We really, really appreciate it. It was a blast
Thanks for having me.
to get to meet you and talk to somebody that was so influential in our life, man. It's
I appreciate that. Well, thank you guys. And, tell your sister I said that we missed her. I rhymed that. I'll see you guys next time.
Absolutely, man. Always. Anytime you want to come on, please. All right, man. Have a great night.
Thanks, y'all.
Cried a little bit because I was so excited in the beginning.
He was pretty great. Before we go any further.
Oh, sorry. Oops. Forgot.
No, he was.
What's he called? Paul.
He was amazing.
Your name is Paul.
Plug-in
Paul.
Paul.
What's it? What is the thing?
It's promo.
Promo Paul.
No, I'll do plugs. Plug-in Paul. I'll do the plugs. Taylor does the proms. The promo Polly.
Okay.
Plug-in Paul. Okay. Well, anyways, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to be informed when we put up a new episode. I'm forgetting something. Is that it for YouTube?
5-star rating.
Well, yeah, give the 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify. Spotify's doing these new interaction things. So go on and answer our questions on Spotify so that we can use that data for a fun game on the show. Give a review on Apple. That helps push us up in the algorithm of Apple. Follow the Instagram. Yeah, that's it. All right, everybody. Peace.